Good morning, good morning. I'm Nick Suplina, I'm with Everytown for Gun Safety. We are the country's largest gun violence prevention organization. We work in all 50 states and the federal government to try to bring common sense solutions to our nation's gun violence crisis. I want to thank Concordia organizers for having me here today, as well as our partners at AWS, who've really been with Everytown for some time now, helping us scale communications with our 11 million supporters across the country, and some recent work on AI, which is what I'm going to talk to you about today. But first, let me introduce an analogy that I think will be helpful as I tell you a bit of what we've been working on. And it takes you back to 2020 to a public health epidemic that we all are all too familiar with. That, of course, was COVID-19, daily death, communities disrupted, and really a sense of discord. The only thing that allowed us a path out of that crisis was data. And not just any data, but current, reliable, accurate data. It's the condition precedent, really, for solving any public health crisis. And of course, it was true during COVID-19. Of course, combating misinformation and bringing audiences accurate information where they are on their own terms was also critically important. So what about another public health epidemic? And that, of course, is gun violence in the US. Daily death, communities turned upside down, the same level of discord. And while many might think of this as more of a political debate in this country, gun violence is now the leading cause of death for children and teens in the US. It takes 125 lives every day, and we have to do something about it. But so what about this public health epidemic? Well, official CDC data on gun violence that's final and confirmed dates back to 2023. Try to think about solving COVID-19 with data that was 2 months old, let alone almost 2 years old. You can't do it. So we needed to do something about it. And of course, at Everytown, we're working on delivering that every single day in myriad ways. But we needed something stronger. And as developments in AI started really taking shape, we asked ourselves, maybe there's something we can do. And about 18 months ago, we started thinking about a new project called Everytown Labs, a way of bringing AI into the gun violence prevention debate, into our work streams, and a way of leveraging our access to that reliable data that we need so much. We've launched 2 products so far. I'm going to speak briefly to both of them. The first is called Every Shot. And by the way, just about everything you're going to see here is AI generated. We collect tens of thousands of news articles from across the US. AI analyzes them, summarizes them, breaks them down into the various categories you see down the left there, and puts it into this format that's very easily searchable, clickable, and gets you the information you need. Unlike that CDC chart I just showed you, we are current. This actually goes to August 1st. I could have done it to yesterday morning. This is a near real-time database. It shows details you can select through any of the filters available. And I will tell you that when we started this, and this is like maybe a little bit of a AI lesson here, this was a quantitative exercise. This was one about knowing numbers better and faster. But this became very quickly qualitative. It became storytelling. And if you look at just the summaries of just a couple days of gun violence in New York, you can see the diversity of gun violence looks different than you probably think. And even as somebody who works in this area, was surprising to me. Each example in the database has a more fulsome, also AI-generated description, but for transparency and accuracy, we link to the source articles there on the right. On the other side of it, we get constant incoming from our tens of thousands of volunteers, from news reporters, from elected officials wanting to know data about gun violence, facts about gun violence, what's the latest policy solutions, what works, what doesn't. And that takes up a fair bit of our time and incoming, and of course we appreciate all of it. But bringing solutions to that audience was another way that we are now using AI with Ask Everytown, which is just a chatbot that is built on our vetted data, our vetted information, And you can see here an example of one of our volunteers who is about to give testimony on ghost guns. The chatbot helps them generate it, and they can be confident that it's getting accurate information from our knowledge base. LLMs have gotten a lot better since we started out, for sure, but they still get things wrong, and they get things wrong on our issue. Here's an example of a question about veteran suicide that leading LLM got wrong, but Ask Every Town gets right. So some thoughts and lessons for especially the nonprofits in the room, but also for any organization at the beginning of their AI journey. Where do you start? My recommendation is to start with the things that you can't possibly do without technology, the impossible data calculations, the things that you just don't have the people or resources for, or the things you don't want to do, the rote, the time-consuming. And roughly on the left, you've got Every Shot, and on the right, you have Ask Every Time for us in terms of how we build. A couple other elements that we've really come to embrace and understand is to center our mission from the beginning. For instance, of course, our brand relies on accuracy and getting things right. Also, we have to stay in our voice and stay moral. We want to build Ask Every Town to tell a local school administrator how better to prevent school shooting, but we cannot be the tool for the next mass shooter, right? Like, we can't afford to figure it out as we go. We had to get it right. Including the subject matter experts, somewhat similar. I am a policy guy, not a tech guy at the end of the day. And so having our teams, our stakeholders, involved from the beginning is really, really important. Otherwise, you're building a tech solution maybe for a different kind of problem. The inverse of that is, if you can, bring in your AI talent, train in-house, because as you all know, the speed of development here is just outrageous. You want to be able to grow with the technology. My colleague Shri, who is that in-house talent and who is changing the way we are doing business at Everytown, knows our business, knows our organization, knows what we're here to do. And quite relatedly, build in the cloud. I will admit in this audience that when we first started Ask Everytown, we worked not in the cloud and with a private contractor that built a thing that pretty much worked, but we couldn't do anything with. This was not ready for prime time, and it certainly wasn't ready to keep up with the pace of AI development. But working with AWS, we now have the benefit of Bedrock and all of the technological advancements offered through that suite, and it really has allowed us to feel like we're keeping pace with the rate of innovation in the AI world. So I'll leave you with some of these thoughts. I'm doing very impressively on time. I apparently spoke very quickly. There's a lot of talk out there. Are you an AI optimist or an AI pessimist? I'm pretty sure that I'm neither. I'm pretty sure that I like the field I've chosen. I'm an AI pragmatist. I think it's here, it's coming, it's going to be hugely disruptive in positive and negative ways, but we're duty bound, for those of us in the nonprofit sector, those of us working on important issues, to leverage this technology as best we can. And that's been the path that we've taken at Everytown. And I will tell you, it's incredibly exciting and a real shot in the arm for a field like this where hope is in short supply. There's no sugarcoating it. Despair is our #1 adversary in this line of work. But with some of the solutions we're developing, with some of the things that I've seen already that you haven't, about how we're going to change the nature of gun violence research, how we're going to change the nature of understanding of incidents of gun violence, I'm filled with a lot of hope. And also a little healthy dose of wonder about what answers we're going to get out of this technology, and even what questions we haven't thought to ask yet. So I'll leave you with that bit of, I guess, official AI optimism. Thank you for your time. Thanks so much for the conference host for having me. Thank you.